Well, hello, 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 my Instacart shoppers at all. We're all here today, and this is great. I'm drinking Starbucks French roast ground in my Melita grinder. Mm-hmm. Probably close to espresso strength. I love powering up my body with the high test caffeine and then going out there and shopping. And I have good news. My 5 star is back. That was an ordeal. It was a punch in the gut, but I'm glad it all worked out. But of course, we know that I could be the feather duster by the afternoon because that's how they work. Well, I'm getting some really kind of cool older people that are finding my channel and saying, oh, I'm really glad to find you because, I'm an older person and I was just deciding whether I should do this or not, or I'm an older person and I'm doing this too, and it's so good to hear from you. And I think something like this keeps me younger. I just turned 72 and I love getting out there. It gives me purpose. I'm very high energy in the morning. I am ready to go. So I love those middle of the night 24-hour CVS runs. We only have one here on the Cape and it's 15 miles away. But usually it's a pretty good deal. I don't take the ones that you can tell are not like medically requesting things like for little sick babies when it's a sick baby and they want that snot thing and the Tylenol infant grape flavored thing. I'm there, but when it's Gatorade and Doritos and Munchies, I kind of steer clear of that because that's peacock feather making, isn't it? And feather duster making. So, anyway, it is nice to hear from you. I love it when you comment, and I'm trying to get to 1,000. That's my little goal, and so I'm inching up, but it seems to take a while. I remember when Jen on the Go interviewed me, I got like 300 new ones, and that was a while back, but I haven't seen Jen on the Go for a while since she moved. But anyway, here we are. And so I'm getting ready to do it. And, more and more people commented to me that um, that they don't get responses from their customers about, like, I text all the way through that this is out, with this work? I send pictures. It just, once you get used to doing that, it just helps. It just is there. It just CYA. But I don't think Instacart sends the text to the customer. I think until you put refund item, they don't come awake for some reason. And I think that that's just one of those shady parts about Instacart where they aren't transparent and they don't pass along things. Of course, people say they don't pass along tips too. I know that they screw us with mileage, and I know, of course, they screw us with batches, but that too. I mean, if you're sending a text that they don't have, the fat reduced wheat thins, but they do have, the family sized fat reduced wheat thins, would you like that? And they don't get it. And so then you put refund item because you don't hear from them. And although I would get the family size at that point if it was that, but other things. Um, but then one day, this was interesting. I had a double order, and the furthest trip, I could tell because I knew the name of the first one, and the furthest one out. So anyway, it was, a pretty decent tip. This woman tips really well, especially when it's a single order, but it's a double order, right? And so this dude orders all of these obscure things. Like, the chances of you finding them on a Labor Day weekend shop on Cape Cod is like one, like on a scale of 10, 1 or 0 are your chances of finding them, not 9 or 10. And so anyway, the first like 4 items that I looked for him were totally out of stock. I mean, that's just it's Cape Cod. It's the end of summer. It's a blowout, right? So I did contact Instacart and I asked them to remove it. So I remembered what the amount of the batch was total. and the tip. And it was they it was one of those orders where they're going to screw you, right? Instacart's going to screw you. It's a no tipping person, and the amount changed by $1. So the batch amount remained the same. Interesting, huh? Because of the items that the other woman who lives on a second floor and is severely handicapped. So anyway, I've shopped for her many, many times. So his order just totally disappeared, and it reflected $1 in the difference of the drive, the tip, and the batch amount. Interesting, isn't it? So that dude with all of his obscure items screwed me anyway. So I was so glad it happened. And wow, that's Sarah won Instacart 397, right? But at least I'm on the board with one now. So anyway, I just thought that was an interesting tale. And so yes, I do believe that sometimes they just don't read or they don't get the text that we are sending them about out of stock items along the way until we refund it. And then they come alive. Now, somebody said maybe it's a different ding on their phone or something else. Um, I don't know, but I have had customers say to me, I didn't I didn't get any notification that they were out of it. So it's like, Anyway, more will always be revealed with Instacart because that's how they roll. So another thing that I'm noticing is the shut-ins. There seem to be so many shades drawn shut-ins, and it doesn't even matter whether the house is a rundown house where somebody is probably elderly and still scared to death of, being in public because of all of the, you know, things that we've got going, or a wealthy, wealthy, wealthy person. I went to this house yesterday. It's a beautiful house, probably assessed at like $600,000 or $700,000, and it's like delivered by the back door gate, and all the shades were drawn, and you could tell they were even expensive, sort of designer shades on the windows, blinds and shades and shutters. And it's like this person, it was a female name, is just like living in this huge house, probably 3,000 square feet, with all the blind, everything's shut down, like nobody's there. It's really strange. Um, so anyway, but I did have a sweet order yesterday. A woman ordering, you'll see this a lot. A child ordering for their elderly parent on Cape Cod, because we do have a lot of elderly. And this man is a sweetie, and he does have a dog, so I'm happy for that. So he's got some companionship. And when he answers the door, he has no ear. There's just a scar here. He must have had some sort of cancer or something, and they just removed the whole ear. But he's a sweetie, and his daughter ordered him some healthy things, but then I guess he has his favorite kind of like a stuffed donut. I don't know if you've seen them on your shops. And they were out of them. And she said, "Oh no, what will I do?" And I said, "I know, I feel so bad. It's almost like if I find them during this week, I'll go bring them to him." Um, it's those sort of things that are really kind of heartwarming, and you really feel like serving a purpose for people. So it has slowed down here, to be expected, with all of the summer people that have left. And we're getting into the fall season, which brings more, but it's a different kind of more. Like they'll be here through September and October. And but I don't know if that also took away with them a lot of Instacart shoppers that probably got a lot of the orders over the summer. Kids working, and now they're back in school. So we'll see. But anyway, it's been good, and it is 4:51 as I record this. And so I will go suit up and get ready to go. And, I love the shopping. I love the people. I love the adventure. I love having no day the same as the next. It just works for me. I hope that you enjoy yours too. It's funny, I worked at a shelter, and it was for homeless mothers and children, and the mothers were in recovery from drug addiction. And it's no longer there. It's still a homeless shelter, but it's a different clientele. But I went there yesterday, and then I also went to the corporate building, which is right around the corner from where I live, to deliver to one of the workers there. She wanted a sub from Stop and Shop, and a huge order for one of the people living at that shelter. And I had the wildest dreams last night about when I worked there, because I worked there for almost 10 years. And that's where I was allowed to do my love of shopping. And I put together there are two houses there for the women. And I could put together the two orders, and they were allowed to get treats. Each mom was allowed to get 3 treats per week of what she wanted, like the Gushers or certain yogurts or things like that. And so I just had the most colorful dreams about how it was when I worked there. And then when I got the order for the corporate, it was like, wow, this is really pretty wild. Then, as if that wasn't enough, I got an order. The director, that when I was there, she's remained a friend, but um, she sold the house that she was in and moved to another. The house that she used to live in, all the years I knew her, they had an order too. Totally unrelated, just the same property. I mean, how weird it, things in threes, things in threes. Anyway, I love this job. I hope they don't deactivate me, but anyway, for a while now I'm back in the driver's seat and it feels great, and glad to be an Instacart shopper, but you know how this goes. In a minute I won't be. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great shopping day. Bye-bye for now.